In the last video, I explained why I believe ORMs shouldn't exist. They hide the database's power and often write terrible SQL. Today I'm going to show you how to take back control and write SQL ourselves. We'll be using W3School's Try-It editor so that you can follow along at home. You'll find a link to this in the description. Allons-y. As a practical exercise today, we're going to try and work out who the best salesperson is in this database. You can view all the tables and data in the database by clicking on the tables in the right-hand column. You'll see that this changes the query in the SQL statement and the results. To work out the best employee for sales, we're probably going to need orders, order details, employees, and products. So how do we go about building the query? First off, let's talk about the statement currently on the screen, and let's select order details, as this seems to be the centre of the universe. So select star from order details means select all fields from the table order details. You can see here that we have a quantity and we don't have a price. That must come from products. So what we're going to do now is do one of the simplest joins in SQL, the inner join. An inner join is actually the default join in SQL. You could actually just type join and it would work absolutely fine as an inner join. What this does is it will return any record where there is a match on both sides. So if you look for order 6, and order 6 has no products, order 6 will not be returned. And I'm going to alias the tables, so we're going to call this one OD for order details and this one P for products. This makes it way easier to type in future. For any inner join, we need to tell it what it joins on. So I'm going to do on product ID, and this is going to be in the products table, equals OD.product ID. And if we run that now, we should see, there we go, we've got the quantity and the price. So to get out the price for this order line, we're going to do some basic maths, and let's do that now. So if we do comma after the star, and I'm going to want od.quantity times p.price. And you can see now we've got a column with no name, so we're going to alias this to total sales. So now what we need to do is roll these up so we know the total price for an order or for an employee. For that, we're going to need the orders table. And we'll just inner join this in the same way. And this will join on o.orderID equals od.orderID. And now what we're going to want to do is lay out the actual columns we want, because there's a lot of data in here. So for the rest of the query, what I basically need is just the employee and the sales they made. So let's do that. So I'm going to do o.employeeID and the quantity and the price. And now we can see each of the individual lines that employees made. So let's roll those up now. And we do that using an aggregate function, but first we need to group the query. We must group by all fields that aren't in an aggregate sum, which in this case is just employee ID. And we do this by adding group by to the end of the query. So group by o.employeeID. Now this will fail because quantity and price are not part of the list. So what we need to do here is wrap these in an aggregate function, which is sum. So this is going to group everything now by employee ID and sum them up. And now we can see each of our employees and the total sales they've made. To work out who's the best, we can just order it, and for that we just use order by. And we want that descending. And there we go, we can see employee 4 has the most sales. But employee 4's probably been here for a long time, so why don't we actually look at just a month's sales? So before we go further, when you select a table, it's going to wipe this out. So I'm going to copy this out into Notepad temporarily. And then in here, actually, let's just look at orders. So to work out a particular month, let's work out the last time we ever wrote an order. So we're going to do max order date from orders. And we can see the last entry was the 12th of February. So to get a full month, we're going to want to look at January. So let's paste our query back in. And for here, we're going to add a where clause. And we can just do where order date between two dates. And that will be 1997. 0101 and 1997. Now this is going to fail because we're comparing a date to two strings, and it didn't fail. Why didn't it fail? Or maybe it's automatically converted them to strings. But what you would do here if it doesn't is you would cast them. So we'll cast the date as date, and the same for this one as date. And yes, it looked like it did the implicit conversion for us anyway. Okay, so we can still see employee 4 is top. But now the second one has changed. If we take that out, and a comment in SQL is just dash dash, yeah, the order changes. One's actually second, unless we put the where clause in. Now, what if we want to know the employees, and also there's a problem here. Employee 5 appears to be missing, and that's because he doesn't have any sales. So how do we bring him back in? Well, we could rewrite the query to start with employees, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, we're going to create a subquery. So I'm going to wrap this in from, like so. and then we'll just select star from employees. And this time we're going to use a new join called a left outer join. A left outer join is a join where everything in the left-hand table of the join will show, regardless of whether it has a matching record in the right or not. There's also a right outer join variant, which does the opposite of the left outer join, and there's a full outer join, which does both sides. It's very rare that you ever use a full outer join. I think I've only ever used one once. There's also an unconditional cross join, which joins every record in one table to every record in another. Again, I think I've used this once or twice in very rare scenarios. And we still need to give it join criteria. So we're going to do on sales.employeeid equals e.employeeid. Now we can't do an order in a subquery in this version of SQL, so we'll take that out. And I've done something wrong there as well. That's my problem. I don't have the employees table alias as e. Okay, so now let's filter down what's in here. I'm going to just put out the name and the sales. So for this, we're going to do e.lastname concatenated with a comma and concatenated with e.firstname. And then we're going to do total sales. And that will, of course, be sales. And we've hit a problem. And you know I mentioned that ORMs were bad for migration? It's not entirely their fault. For instance, the ANSI standard for concatenation is using 2 pipes. However, until SQL Server 2025, they didn't support that. Instead, they only supported plus. So how is an ORM supposed to make it migrate proof when SQL itself doesn't even do that? And now we have it. We even have the people that don't exist. Let's put in the employee ID so we can make sure they're the right people. So employee 5, for instance. And yes, employee 5 has a missing price. Now, we don't want to show that because it looks a bit weird. So instead, we're going to put something out. And to do that, we can use something called COALESCE. And what this will do is it will search through each of the items in this list until it finds a not null, and then it'll output it. So here, if total sales is null, it'll go to the next one and put 0. Let's try that. And actually, I need to rename it. And there you go. We've got the 0 there. And then, of course, we just want to order by total sales. But to find the best person, we need to do that in descending order. So we just add desk, and there you go. Best salesperson is Margaret Peacock. So there you have it. You can see that SQL is not difficult at all. And if you write it in ANSI SQL and the databases support it, it will work with any DB solving your migration problem. In the next video, I'll be talking about a taboo topic, stored procedures. Practically everyone says you shouldn't use them, and I really couldn't disagree more. You'll find that video top left as soon as it's ready. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.